He got out of the car. The next thing, instead of the tip, he took out a gun. And I said, God of Pastor Justin Chiwala. He could not pull the trigger. I just drove off. Hallelujah, church. Somebody say City of Rest International. I am a true living testimony of City of Rest. Not that I'm glorifying the name to advertise, but because of what I've seen from the very first day that I came in. Like I said, I'm a true living testimony of the God of this ministry. My life has been a testimony since the first day. How I got here, I'm an Uber driver. And that day, I'm proud to say, my fiance, I told her, today, I'm not going to any change, but today something is just telling me that I need to be in change. And she said, please follow your heart. People of God, I didn't know where to go. People have been lied in different ministries. I don't judge. And I got to that point where I said, no, man, I'm tired. But that day, I said to my fiance, I'm just going to go work, but something is telling me, people of God, I try to work. I stay in Leader Park, Kailicha. I drove all the way. And something to show that God was channeling me to this place. Something was telling me that the church that I need to be in is in Quebec Road. So I drove through N2, went down to Salt River. So I was like, okay, if I go maybe by Pick and Pay. That time I was moving fast. I think about 120 or 130, just from the circle. I don't know how I turned here. I believe that was God. And I rested here in City of Rest. Since that day, my life financially, it has been so stagnant. But I started to see things changing. And then a couple of days, I think a month after, I had a dream when God was saying, I don't want you to work at night. Obedience is the best. I told my fiance, I had this dream. And she said, you need to listen to that. And I did not listen because I wanted money. You know, as a man, you are the provider. And then I picked a client from Brooklyn to Pero. I know Brooklyn because I've stayed there. I know Pero because I've stayed there. But because God was just trying to humble me, to teach me something, that when I say something, you need to listen. So that day, the whole day, you know, because you work with different people, you play secular music. But that day, something was just telling me, you need to play the gospel. Since the morning till that time. So when the gentleman got into the car, he could not sit. And I could tell that something fishy. But I was like, maybe God is just doing something. To cut the long story, when I got to the destination, he tried to convince me to go to a corner. I said, no, I'm not going there. As if he was a good man. He said, I thank you for the trip. You deserve a tip. He got out of the car. The next thing, instead of the tip, he took out a gun. And I said, God of Pastor Justin Chiwala. He could not pull the trigger. I just drove off. How I got home. And when I got home, I told my fiance, she said, she didn't feel sympathy on me. She said, you need to listen. God said you must not work at night. And that day, I said, I'm not going to do that again. Then I planned to engage. No money. And I tried to do it as a secret. But because you are with the prophetess, someone she had to find it. And she said, we're not going to do it. And I said, I'm going to do it in my heart. Knowing that my financial life is not well. People of God, there is God in this place. There is God in this place. A week before, I said, God, this is a birthday, and this is the best gift that I wanted to give her, and I don't have money. 3 days before, the exact amount that I wanted for that ring, I got it and I wept. There is God in this place. I said, there is God in this place. Before that, when I'll call him Daddy, when Daddy was teaching about provoking the blessing, I'm sure many of you were here when he started declaring, and I stood up, and he gave a prophecy that your financial life is about to change. God is about to connect you with business people. It is true. The day before yesterday, just by the petrol station, somebody that I do not know, a white person he was smoking. And then I started to tell the petrol attendant, I said, why are you letting this man smoke? I still have children to look after. And then everyone started laughing. I said, no, this is not a laughing joke. You know the rule. And I thought he was going to be angry. Little did I know, after when he took the cigarettes, he came and approached me. He said, I want to do business with you. I said, me? He said, you. I said, give me your number. And then he said, we're not going to do those nonsense. I take your number, you give me your number. We need to talk. We need to discuss business next week. After, when the man of God prophesied, hallelujah, Church of God. Yes, we may take it lightly, but there is God in this place. And I want to say, Daddy, I thank you. I really appreciate you. Church, I appreciate you. If it wasn't for God, Daddy, and you, I wouldn't be here. Amen.